again welcome to another edition of the Shirlma Show. With us today is Petula B, the lady behind Mafo Designs. Welcome to the Shirlma Show, Mimi.
Thank you.
Remember before the show we were talking about Mia?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about this idea of ensuring that your children actually have a better future by encouraging Mia, for instance, to be a storyteller.
Everybody has a story and you need to get either motivated or discouraged by your story. So I choose to be motivated by my story, that I didn't have a focus when I was growing up. Like, I was imposed on by the school, by parents, by my grandparents, you need to be this, you need to be that. So at the end of it, I didn't find a path. So as the years got by, I started having children, still without finding a path. And I got this vacuum in me that wasn't filled. So it's a horrible experience. I might have gone through it, but the children are born in a generation where there's a lot of information at their disposal. And if they do not use it, they might not go through it like me. So I now started, it's true, my children are very quiet. It's just Karen that talks. So it's difficult with the set of children that do not talk to actually identify their talents. But then I had to, like Israel did, like the Bible says that he actually took note of Joseph's dreams. So even your children cannot tell you their dreams, you should be able to pick out those things that they say. You should be able to check those things that they love. Yeah, and encourage them towards that direction. It's a huge sacrifice. Very long story. So for Mia, she's always there in my ears. Mama, I went to school, this happened. Mama, I went to this place. Do you know that my friend has called this? And one day, like 2 months ago, I asked her, Mama, do you know you're a very good storyteller? She said yes. I said, then I told her about Facebook, online presence, the audience. And we started talking about the problems she can solve by telling stories to people, by making people laugh. Yes, by telling people interesting things. Yeah, wow, that is it.
Well, I really enjoy the story. Now I'm wondering, right? So how do you transition from being the Petula, a mom, a teacher, to a fashion designer?
There's actually a place where we converge. And if you have a place of convergence, you should have a place of divergence, whether you like it or not. So when I'm going out, I don't know, you have to build your spirit in such a way that you know that you're operating as 4 different people. When you're going to the house, you know that you're going to meet family. And the family is mostly the children. So you're going to meet the children, you have to be a child all the time in order to get their points. If you want to think that you keep on being annoyed or what, now how do you do that? From my own experience, I love everybody that I meet. I always point you to your value rather than your error. Because when I was growing up, I was always being pointed to my errors and it's very painful. So at some point I became so shallow in everything, like I was blocked. But now I realize that when you point anybody to his or her value, that person excels. So I'm testing with the children, it's working wonderful. Yeah. So every time when like you are talking to, if it's another parent, you start beating Karen because she talks too much. But now I have to point her to her value and make her understand that her words were given to her as a gift, so she can develop them. So when she's talking, even I know, as a mother, I know that it's her talent. So when she's talking, it's not noise to me, you know. If the brother can leave, the brother loves animals. He can leave the house, if there's no animal in the house, he can go and stay in a neighbor's house. So instead of shouting, I need to know that that's value he's creating. How can we make this child grow up or develop this value in order to help the community and make money from it, of course. So now I see it as value instead of seeing it as a stubborn child. You get the point? Yeah. That is it. So that's what I try to do. Anything that you exaggerate with, I want to get the value of it and then we transform it so it becomes fun.
You know what's beautiful in what you're saying is kind of like still going back to before the show when we're talking about designs, that you said generally when you dress up somebody, the person is not supposed to understand.
Yes.
Which actually takes me now to, now then my question is, how then do you know if this is a good design or a bad design?
It's a kind of spiritual thing. That is one of the things that make me resign from classroom teaching and go back to designing. I have to redesign because I have sewing as a talent. So now it's spiritual because when I want to design for you, if my spirit doesn't agree with me to sew your dress now, I will not do that.
Something.
Yeah, when I want to sew in the morning, there are times I posted, there's a day I posted on Facebook that how to make your day exciting, you know. Yeah, I use mine. In the morning, I sew. If I have to sew, there are designs or influencer, journalists, what that I have to sew. When I get up in the morning, there are journalists that are negative, there are those that are positive. If I have designs or journalists to sew, I start my day with a journalist that is fun-filled or is positive. That's what I do. Because when I'm sewing in, I'm actually what is passing through my mind is what you used to say on TV. Yeah. And sometimes I remember something you said and I'm angry, you know, and I don't want that. So sometimes I remember the things you said and they are fun. So I love those fun-filled people, you know. I know people that progress, people that have been surmounting challenges. I start with their designs. I see the progress.
So now, one thing that I actually have with designers sometimes, or maybe, let me say tailors or designers or something, especially in Africa, at times is the finishing.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you have to say about that? Because like sometimes you really feel like maybe the dress is supposed to be going right, but when you take the dress, you find it like, oh, this one is going right, this one is going left. And worse still, they expect you to maybe buy from them because you want to promote made in Africa. So what do you have to say about that? Right?
Yes, the thing is that you cannot expect people to buy when even you cannot buy what you're producing. One thing that we exhibit generally as the entrepreneurs in Africa or in Cameroon, or let me call them, let me use the local language, the technicians, is that we know very well that we are doing this thing wrong, yet we cannot take the responsibility of our actions. There is time we take responsibility of our actions. The pitch I did and was appreciated, I introduced it with this. That for so long, even before I was born, we know that tailors they don't deliver on time. They don't even do the finishing well. We know that that's what we do. But now there is a problem. What is the solution we are proposing? We are in an era where there's a lot of information on YouTube. Why don't you go there, type? So one of the main reasons is that most tailors are not educated. They are not. And they're not really interested in being educated. They don't even bother because they're just doing their small business to solve their family problems, you know. That is why they'll even go and learn to take a client's money and solve their problem. They're okay. You know, no guilt. But if you want to run a thriving business, you want to run a business that is actually solving your problems in your community, not limited to your family, but you extend a little bit to your community, and you can extend out to another community. And then you have to study what your community is all about. So somebody cannot have an event and you fail the person. There's a problem of time management.
So I think you're doing something exceptional when it comes to marketing. Now my question will be, when did it actually occur to you that marketing was really very important?
I didn't even realize that it was marketing I was doing. What I realized was that I wanted people to see what I was able to do. But I did not understand what was marketing. So when I started taking courses on marketing, and then I realized I've been doing marketing. In fact, everybody does marketing. The only thing is that at the end, do they buy from you? That's the point. So your marketing now is appreciated when your sales begin to come. Yes. Now, what happened to me was that I thought of time management. How do I manage my time? If I'm a mother, if I'm a wife, if I'm a designer, now I have to attend events. How do I manage my time? So now I started taking appointments with people and choose to supply to them when there are events on the event ground. When I'm going there, the time that I'm using to attend the event is the same time I'm supplying. Good. Then now I realized that even during events when I go there, I can carry my tape along. My tape is even my back. How did I forget it? I go everywhere with my tape. So now I'm managing time, I'm cutting down expenses. And before I knew it now, it was like, there's somebody who could carry the tape and not be ashamed of it. When I go anywhere, as we finish, I just move my tape. Even the camera is on, no, I don't bother. So it's like, it was strange that there was somebody that could carry a tape and be measuring people anyhow, anyway. It's strange, huh? Yeah. That is why you see, it caught people's attention. Then all this was happening. It started happening when I was recovering from accident. So I'll be with my crutch. I'll put it and then I'll be struggling to measure people. It started catching, who is this woman? What is in her mind? So I was not ashamed of it, you know. And because I know that there's no talent that is inferior. So before I knew it, I was marketing. And then one of the things I'm doing is that I actually offer more. Like, I don't bother about what I have to spend or whatever. But if I know that there's somebody here that I have to meet the person, I don't come to your office empty-handed. And what can I offer you that you don't have? I just want to show you what I can do. That's all. That's how it started. So I just grew up. I was brought up not to visit people empty-handed. Now, if I want to visit a big man like the job boy, what do I have to give him? I want to tell them, say, this is what I am able to do. Does he like dresses? No, but the fact that I came to introduce to him that this is what I can do, maybe he doesn't have time at that time. When he goes home, he looks at it and he will always remember me.
Wow.
So you see all these people that are connected to, that is what I did.
Wow. More with Mafo Designs after the break. If you're just joining us today on the Shirlma Show, you've been missing a lot because guess what? We have been with Petula B, the lady behind Mafo Designs. What do you think about originality? Because basically, there's always a statement like, what is there that you can do that is really new, that someone has never done before?
Mm-hmm.
But what would be your concept, or what would be your thinking behind originality, or what's your thought behind?
That is to say, there has been a lot of low self-esteem among Cameroonians. And then now they are Cameroonians, Africans. Now Africans are beginning to rise up, to go back to their roots, to show their identity on every platform, and designs are one of them. Now, the people that do the designs, you have like Shasha, like Walk to Paris, Afuacom. Yeah, they do the designs and they're perfectly done. Yeah. So what I do is, I know that there are people out there who are excelling in it. I know that there are people who are already doing it very well. So what I do, I have to go to their pages, I need to get contacts. And sometimes I'll have to visit those people that are doing it better in order to see what they do, how they manage it and all that. Like, it's not easy to even get access to them. Mm-hmm. But I usually try. So about the originality, about my designs, I wouldn't want to say I do a lot of things from inspiration. And to tell you that sometimes I don't really waste my time trying to create things because everything has already been created. We want to innovate. When you go by innovation, it's easier and you can actually get the money faster.
Okay, so now, right, you as a person, what are some mistakes that maybe you made in the past that you think maybe if given this opportunity that you have today and who you are today, maybe you would have done them differently?
The mistake that I made that played negatively on me was the fact that even when I was supposed to say, stand my ground, I let somebody else take a decision for me. It has happened like that. I was thinking that I was a child. Oh, I'm still growing up. I'm only a girl. I'm only this. And I realized that I gave people a lot of time and a lot of opportunities to make decisions for me. And it has affected me so negatively.
What's one of the effects of that, if you can share with us?
Yeah, for example, I talk very well. Yeah, I mean, like, I understand language. You get the point. But in school, I did sciences. And even right up to when I had to go for training, I did private training in ENS, and I did chemistry. And I'm teaching chemistry, and they are looking at me like a language madam. You know, the students used to tell me. So, but then I had a choice. I had a choice to say I wouldn't do this thing. But I didn't. You know why? Because the way I grew up, first, I was inferior. I had low self-esteem. I was born out of wedlock. I had to stay with other people. So I didn't have a voice. Like, even you feel pain, they'll always accuse you. You're the one who did this instead of the child of the house. So in order to avoid or to prevent some of those accusations, I'm now feeling good. You had to just keep quiet even when things were going wrong. Even when they were saying you go to this place, you go because you don't want to make those people angry so that they'll not talk against you. But I later discovered that it's only when you pass through those storms, you know, they can be given your place. So I discovered that, though I discovered that like just a few years ago, and I chose to rise up. Yes, I chose to rise up, and I correct. I know that I have rights. I know that there are a lot of things. If I want to start saying them now, I will sleep here. But that's just one of them.
No, but that's actually like a good learning, because given the fact that you said that now you've learned from it, I think that's amazing. We are proud of you.
Thank
now
you.
We have Mafo Designs.
That
right?
is it, okay. And that's what I have Mia.
Okay, and that's why we have Mia.
Yes, because we don't force her to do some of the things that that she wouldn't feel comfortable. Actually, my mother, yeah, played a role. Like she's of late. Yeah, she was actually a strong woman, and I look like her. So when you start asking yourself questions like the errors you make, that is that, like I was telling you, even as a designer, as a mother, as a wife, as a business person, if you keep pouring the blame on people, you know why we are like this in this Cameroon? Everybody blames everybody. Nobody takes the responsibility. When you're in a taxi, you see they quarrel and they insult each other. Because this taxi man thinks that the other one is wrong. This bike man thinks that the other one is wrong. And nobody is taking the blame. So, but then if you rise up and start taking the blame on your actions, you correct yourself. If things are going wrong in our community, you start saying, my neighbor did this. You see people sit in the gutter. There is flood everywhere. Because nobody can create a gutter in front of his or her house. And we are blaming government. You get the point? So if I get up and create a gutter, you create yours. At the end, in the whole area, there will be a gutter, there will be a drainage. But now everybody sits and is saying, government has not, government has not. So we are just here because we keep blaming. And when I realized that there was a lady called the woman of noble character, that got married to a man that, when she realized that the man was somebody of the Carrefour, or the city gates now. To be honest with you, the way I translate that scripture, somebody that is passing through a responsible man, nobody will call him to tell you that your wife is behaving well or your wife is behaving wrongly. Who will even stop you? But if the Bible says that he used to receive praises at the city gate, it means that he used to sit there and play draft. He used to sit there with those people and discuss. But now, when the wife realized, she didn't make noise. She already had a family. And that was part of her vineyard. She chose to change her focus, to move it from that man, that city gate, and put it on the tree and put it on her own projects, and put it on her vision. And then she concentrated on it. And she was doing her work marvelously well. And it went down as history. Her name was written down. So we can do better. It's even easier for us. If she did it in her corner, there was no network, and her name was written down. What are we doing? Should we keep blaming people? That is it.
You know, when you're talking about this blame, there's this famous quote that I love, right? Which actually says, maybe I'm not quoting it like in the exact order, which actually says that you can fail 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, but you you'll never become a failure until the day you start blaming another person.
Good.
Then you become a failure.
That is it.
So I love that. More with Petula B after the break. If you're just joining us on the Shirlma Show, we're in the house with Petula B, the lady behind Mafo Designs. So I just want to find out, okay, what advice can you actually give to young designers coming up?
They should learn. They should be determined to learn, unlearn and relearn. There are a lot of courses online. You cannot even do business today, even as a designer. You cannot even meet the great people. That's if you are doing a business course, you always know that there is this question they will ask you: what's your target? You want to design your business model, you must know your target market. Yeah. And unless your target market is the type of people that are just like you, you want to learn. There's no way you design a dress for the people who are great out there, who have made it for successful people, because those people know the value of time. So then time is actually money. So when you are not yet at that level of understanding, you'll be joking with time. That's one of the rare assets we have. It's given to everybody. But those who use theirs well are making it. So if you don't learn how to use your own time well, if you don't understand the times, you don't understand your clients, your client base, who they are, and how they react to the negative things you do, how they even react to the positive ones you do, then you will never make it. Another thing is I need to join a community. Like what I was saying, we will have a problem with that because We went through school. The school system tells us to hide our work. But now when you face the real life, when you go out there, it exposes you to promote our work. You know, we need to collaborate. So like the president of the VIP winners, you can join the VIP winners. We are, in the VIP winners community, we are actually 1,000 by faith. For now, we are 800. So we have to be 1,000 by the 31st of July. That's an achievement that has to come here. And we have people of all walks of life. We have different trainings, start that mentorship program. It's an excellent program. You can actually enroll and you get yourself out of this. It's terrible. We are just talking here, but what is happening out there is terrible. You need to get...
Amazing, amazing. So let's relax with some fun questions.
Okay, what do you think of people who don't take care of their parents? That is terrible. Very terrible. My parents died in 2015. So, but then I feel terrible when somebody is unable to take care of the parents. The first thing is that you need to know that someday you become a parent. Someday you become old and very weak. Somebody will need to take care of you. So I think you should put yourself already in that situation now. Put yourself there. Ask yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that I'm 100 years old and there's nobody to take care of me. What will become of me? So it's a responsibility to take care of your parents. Whether they took care of you or not, it's a responsibility. But now back to the parents. Should you actually feed from a vineyard that you didn't work? If the children don't take care of you, what is the problem? So as we are living, there's something you need to pass on. That is why every time I'm training anywhere, I must have something that I've prepared. The last point, passing it on. What are you passing on? So you don't need to wait to be on your dying bed. You say, when I die, I do this and that. No. Every day as you live, you are passing on something. Second question. What are your dislikes on the dress code of the youth today?
Oh, wow. That's a good question for you.
Yes. Actually, I think the problem with the youth is that they don't even know that they are youths. And they don't know that being youth means that you're the arm of the community. You're the power of the community. You're the strength of the community. When you are young, that's when you do the highest work. When you are still young, that is when you do, all the things that you used to imagine, you try to do them when you're young because you have the strength to fall and rise again. Now, when it comes to dress code, there's a common saying that you're going to be addressed the way you're dressed. So actually, who do you want to become? One of the ways that you can get really respected, even for nothing, is by dressing well. It's by dressing modestly. So the dress code they use today, most of them, those that don't have understanding, it's not okay. I don't like it. You must not expose your breasts and your tummy. If you see the stars doing that, they're doing that, they're making money. Now we come back to the quarters, we don't even know what we are supposed to wear or not. We think that because they're wearing that, we should wear it. Once you wear that, you're exposing, know that it's a negative on your part. It's a minus. It's a minus on the person that will recruit you tomorrow. It's a minus on the person that is going to marry you tomorrow. It's a minus on your children because on this internet age, nothing hides. Whatever you do, people will always remind you of. Whether it was filmed or not, the cells of the brain are already developed to keep information because that's the era in which we are living. So people always remind you. So you mustn't go to the negative way in order to be noticed because your past will always haunt you. Yeah. We want to go by Facebook, PETULA BIH for Designs. Okay. You can see, just type for Designs. You write, we'll always respond. You can get to me on WhatsApp, 674-594260. You call WhatsApp. We'll be there.
I must tell you, I really enjoyed this conversation with you. I felt like actually we're somewhere kind of friends that we went out to just chat. Like that's how the interview felt to me.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for being
You're
here.
welcome.
And to be honest, we really wish you the very best in what you're doing. Keep doing the good work. On the Shirlma show today with us, we have been honored to be in the presence of PETULA BIH, the lady behind Mafo Designs. And thank you for always being there for us. We are here because you're there. And please, do not forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos. Let's know what you think about this episode. Thank you.